What if your entire life, every joy, every heartbreak, every moment of struggle was chosen by you, not by chance, not by fate, but with clear intention, before you ever opened your eyes to this world, before your first breath, you existed, not as a body, but as consciousness, free, aware, eternal. And in that timeless space, you didn't just wait, you designed. This video will take you into the hidden dimension few dare to explore, the pre-birth realm, a place whispered about in ancient scrolls, mirrored in metaphysical science, and erased from mainstream thought. Because if you knew what really happens before birth, you'd understand the immense power you carry right now, and some forces in this world can't afford you to know that. The space between lives, where souls remember. Imagine a realm where time doesn't tick and form doesn't bind, a place of pure awareness, luminous, weightless, and infinite. This is the pre-birth realm. In Tibetan Buddhist teachings, it's described as the Sidpa Bardo, a transitional state between incarnations. Here, the soul isn't idle, it's active. It reviews, reflects, and prepares. This space isn't chaos, it's precision. A cosmic workshop where the soul aligns itself with what it needs most: growth. You chose the people you'd meet, the pain you'd face, the love you'd find and lose, all with one goal: to evolve beyond who you were. The idea isn't new. Hermetic texts speak of a plane of causation, where vibration and intention sculpt future experience. The Emerald Tablet's timeless law, as above, so below, echoes this perfectly. What happens in the higher planes doesn't just stay there, it flows downward, into you, the blueprint of your existence. So why does this hidden realm matter? Because it's where your entire life was drafted. Before you became human, you were a soul seated at a kind of divine drafting table, mapping your life with guides, with your soul group, and with universal laws. You chose challenges not to suffer, but to awaken. You picked wounds not to be broken, but to heal. You selected heartbreak not to lose, but to love deeper next time. It may seem impossible to imagine choosing pain, but your soul doesn't fear discomfort. It understands that transformation often begins where comfort ends. The experiences that test you most are the ones your spirit raised its hand for. Soul groups and sacred contracts. Now imagine this. Before birth, you sat in council, not alone, but with other souls. Souls you've known before, some loving, some triggering, some unforgettable. Together, you crafted soul contracts, sacred agreements to help each other grow. You said, "I'll be the parent who pushes you to your limits. I'll be the friend who reminds you of your worth. I'll be the rival who tests your strength." These aren't random roles. They are deliberate collaborations. You've probably felt it, that instant spark with someone you just met, or that strange friction with someone who feels too familiar. That's soul memory, flickering through the veil. These connections are deeper than coincidence. They're reminders of a plan your heart remembers, even if your mind forgot. Why the soul chooses hardships. But here's the hardest truth to swallow. The soul often chooses difficulty, not out of masochism, but out of wisdom. A life without resistance may feel pleasant, but a life with challenge? That's where transformation lives. That illness that changed your priorities, that betrayal that made you find your voice, that loss that cracked you open. They're not accidents, they're awakenings. Not every lesson is gentle. Some shake you until you remember who you truly are, and until you do, the same lesson will repeat. Modern echoes of ancient wisdom. Skeptical? You're not alone, but there's something incredible happening. Modern research is starting to confirm what mystics have always known. In countless past life regressions and deep hypnosis sessions, people describe the same things. A realm before birth, choosing their families, agreeing to specific life themes, even seeing potential life paths like previews and selecting one. These aren't vague dreams. They're specific, detailed, and eerily consistent across cultures, languages, and belief systems. And while mainstream science may roll its eyes, the patterns speak volumes. What if ancient wisdom and modern accounts are pointing to the same reality? That life is not happening to you. It's happening through you and by you. The veil of forgetting. But if all of this is true, why don't we remember it? The answer is one of the most beautiful paradoxes of all. The veil of forgetting. The moment your soul enters the physical world, a veil drops. Memories of the pre-birth realm fade. The agreements blur. You forget. On purpose. Why? Because knowing would take away the very meaning of the experience. It's like watching a movie when you already know the ending. You wouldn't feel the suspense, the heartbreak, the breakthrough. The soul wanted the full experience, the pain, the wonder, the choice, to remember through living. And yet, not all is lost. Intuition, the whisper, through the veil. Have you ever had a moment where you just knew? A person you were drawn to, a decision that felt right without logic, a place that felt like home the first time you stepped into it? That's your soul speaking through the veil. A gentle whisper, a familiar pull. This is what we planned. These glimpses are not hallucinations. They are breadcrumbs, left behind by your higher self. The veil may obscure, but it does not silence. Karma, vibration, and the invisible architecture of life now. Behind this entire process lies a set of universal forces, subtle yet precise. Karma, vibration, attraction. They're not punishments or woo-woo ideas. They're the invisible architecture of your existence. In part 2 of this journey, we'll dive into how these laws shape your path, how you can start remembering the contracts you made, and most importantly, how you can live in alignment with the soul you were and the life you chose. You weren't sent here by accident. You walked in with purpose. The laws that shape your destiny. Before you took your first breath, before your body even formed, a symphony of unseen laws was already composing the melody of your life. These are the laws of the universe, not written in books, but etched into the fabric of existence. You may have heard of them: karma, vibration, attraction. But these are more than spiritual buzzwords. They are the very forces that shape your path from soul to self. Karma, the law of sacred echoes. Let's start with karma, perhaps the most misunderstood law of them all. It's not a system of cosmic punishment. It's not, you get what you deserve. Karma is balance, it's cause and effect, a sacred echo that returns not to punish, but to teach. In the pre-birth realm, your soul reviews the karmic ripples it left behind, the lessons still unlearned, the wounds left unhealed, the intentions left unfinished. And from that understanding, you choose. You might pick a life of scarcity to learn generosity, a life of heartbreak to learn unconditional love, a life of limitation to remember your boundless nature, not because you are broken, but because you are becoming. The law of vibration. What you are, you attract. Everything in this universe is energy. Everything. Thoughts, emotions, intentions. And yes, you. The law of vibration says that every soul resonates at a unique frequency, shaped by your choices across lifetimes, and that frequency determines where you're drawn. Before birth, your soul didn't just pick circumstances, it vibrated toward them. Your family, your environment, even the time and place of your birth, were all energetically aligned with the growth you came here to pursue. If your soul carries a frequency of healing, you may be born into brokenness, to remember your power to mend. If your essence is service, you may attract pain, so you can learn to soothe. Vibration doesn't lie. Your outer world always mirrors your inner resonance. And that brings us to the third law, the law of attraction, the magnet of intention. In the pre-birth realm, your soul sets powerful intentions, not as goals, but as vibrational blueprints. Those intentions, aligned with your karma and frequency. Begin to draw the exact experiences, people, and lessons you'll need once you're born. It's not magic, it's resonance. If you came to learn strength, you will attract challenges. If you came to teach, you'll attract those seeking guidance. If you came to love, you may first be shattered, so your heart can open wider. You are not being tested. You are being aligned. You have free will, always. But here's the beautiful twist. Even though your soul crafted a blueprint, you still have free will. Think of it like this. The map is drawn, but you choose the route. You can walk, you can run, you can take the long way, or shortcut through the fire. You can resist the lesson, or embrace it early. This is what makes life so vivid, so painful, so breathtaking. You are not a puppet of destiny. You are a co-creator. The soul provides the purpose, but you, here and now, write the story. The veil was necessary, but it's getting thinner. Remember that veil we talked about? It exists to protect your experience, to make sure each choice feels real, raw, and unscripted. But something is shifting. The veil is thinning. People are remembering. They're questioning. They're waking up in the middle of the story and asking, wait, did I write this? And yes, you did. But the moment you start asking is the moment your awakening begins. You were never meant to forget forever, only long enough to rediscover what was always within you, the forbidden wisdom, and why it was hidden. If this truth is so empowering, why isn't everyone taught it? Simple, because a person who knows their power can't be controlled. Systems of fear, from institutions to ideologies, rely on your disconnection. They teach you that you're broken, sinful, powerless, that salvation comes from the outside. But ancient teachings say the opposite. The divine lives within you. You are the creator and the created. And life is not something to survive, but something you designed. This truth has been buried, ridiculed, labeled heresy or nonsense. But now, it's resurfacing. And once you know it, you can't unknow it. Real-life application. How do you use this knowledge now? This isn't just theory. This is transformation, waiting to be lived. When you understand your soul chose this life, you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Pain becomes a portal. Obstacles become teachers. Even difficult people become reflections of your contracts, your karma, your growth. Start small. When you feel lost, sit in silence and ask your soul, what did I come here to remember? When you're triggered, pause and ask, what lesson is trying to emerge? When you feel drawn to something or someone, trust it. Your soul leaves clues. You are never alone. Perhaps the most powerful truth is this. You didn't come here alone. You came with a team, your guides, your soul group, your higher self, always whispering, always watching. Even in your darkest moments, you're being held. Yes, life can hurt. Yes, the forgetting is hard, but it's part of a much bigger masterpiece. And every time you choose courage over comfort, love over fear, awareness over autopilot, you remember just a little more. Collective awakening starts with you. As you wake up, something even more extraordinary begins. Others follow. Because awakening is contagious. Your light gives others permission to shine. Imagine a world where millions knew they chose their lives, where we saw suffering as sacred, where we met each other with compassion because we understood. We're all learning. That world isn't a dream. It's a memory of what we came here to rebuild. And it starts with you. So now what? You've remembered the pre-birth realm. You've rediscovered the sacred blueprint. You know the laws that govern your journey. But this is just the beginning. Because now, you face the most important question of all. How will you live now that you remember who you are? Will you keep playing small, or step fully into your purpose? Will you keep numbing yourself or feel every moment as sacred? Will you let fear decide or let your soul lead? The choice is yours. It always has been. And if this message stirred something inside you, a sense of knowing, a remembering, then follow it. Because you didn't stumble upon this message. You called it in, you're waking up, and nothing will ever be the same again.